Now before I start, I just want to say that I love Master Roshi. He's one of my favorite characters in the Dragon Ball franchise and one of the best parts of the original Dragon Ball. Seeing him used in Super thus far has been cool, since he received a little usage in Z other than spouting some occasional exposition or giving occasional advice. However, with that being said, Master Roshi's writing and power scaling has been totally ridiculous in Dragon Ball Super, and I'll explain why. Now, at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, Roshi was pretty much useless. He didn't help in the fight against Raditz, even when Raditz came right to his house. He didn't help against the Saiyans when they came to the Earth, and he was never even implied to have trained. Roshi had been surpassed by his students come this point, with Goku and Tien being both arguably more powerful in the 22nd tournament. Roshi didn't contribute to any conflict throughout the Z series, and wasn't even a match for the final two bosses of Dragon Ball. This made sense because his story was all but over, and with the way Toriyama wrote him, he was basically furniture or decoration in the background. But at least he did get a nice funny moment, or we did get to see his reactions from time to time. Now come Dragon Ball Super, this has taken a drastic 180, with Roshi not only being relevant again, but somehow stronger than ever before out of nowhere. It's actually mind-boggling just how strong Roshi is being booked to look in Dragon Ball Super right now, and just who he's competing against. It started in Resurrection F with Roshi fighting Frieza soldiers. Now the average Frieza soldier we saw on Namek was stronger than Raditz, and while this doesn't seem like much, Roshi wasn't even close to Raditz's league in Z. Yet Roshi mops the floor with a number of these soldiers, and maybe you can make some headcanon argument that Frieza had to salvage a bunch of super weak fighters to join in his assault, but Roshi's power level in Dragon Ball never even cracked 500. So this is already a rather large boost out of nowhere when Roshi wasn't even implied to have trained. And in the same arc, Roshi is taking shots from Tagoma, who is stronger than Piccolo and base Gohan. And I guess you could try to make up the excuse that Tagoma randomly lowered each of his limbs' powers to be slightly above his target, but I can see zero reason for why this would even happen. However, this is still nothing compared to what we see in the Universe Survival arc. Somehow in the current arc of Super, Master Roshi has become stronger than most of the fighters in Dragon Ball Z. And I don't even mean early Z. I mean Roshi is probably now stronger than most characters from even the Cell and Buu saga. And if you think this is ridiculous, welcome to the club, because as outlandish as that statement and train of thought is, that's apparently what the writing staff at Toei wants us to believe. Because during the episode where Roshi is recruited to join the Tournament of Power, Roshi is portrayed as being not only superior to Tien in combat, but when he bulks up he's able to trade blows with base Goku. But I'm sure you'll say, Mike, Goku can suppress his power to be super low. He's only fighting Roshi at 1/10 trillionth of a percent of his power, and while someone actually trying to put that into calculations and say its fact is idiotic, it's also not even thinkable in universe anymore. As in episode 107 of Super, Roshi in his bulked up form was actually able to briefly overwhelm Final Form Frost, a Frost who is stronger than Goku's base in the Tournament of Destroyers or the Universe 6 arc. And since Frost has increased his power from that tournament, as noted by Hit during the episode where Hit recruits him, this means Roshi by extension may also be stronger than base Goku from that tournament, in that Toei was actually trying to make us think that he's close in power to base Goku in this arc. And again, Frost may have been holding back, but Roshi wasn't even close to his full power himself. In fact, he pretty much died in a prior episode after using a full power Kamehameha on an opponent. So clearly Roshi was very tired and nearly out of key, yet somehow he was able to temporarily overwhelm a fresh Frost. But it gets even worse because Roshi was also able to use his Mafuba on Frost. Now for context, Roshi had already used his Mafuba or Evil Containment Wave multiple times on multiple opponents throughout the fight, yet somehow this didn't kill Roshi. And then Roshi is also able to use it again on Frost, who should by all means be vacuumed vastly more powerful than Roshi, and the move nearly works until Roshi's body twitches and he misses the jar. Now you would think this would finally kill Roshi, and they even took the iconic moment from when Roshi fails against King Piccolo where it looks like he's about to die, but yet I guess he was still fine. And even more ridiculously, Roshi uses the move again on Frost, who through total nonsense writing is able to deflect the Mafuba at Vegeta. Now you'd think that maybe, just maybe, Vegeta, who is stronger than Frost, would be too strong for this to work on him. Yet it actually ensnares Vegeta and traps him in the jar. And Roshi still doesn't die. And Roshi can even throw a little ki blast which breaks the jar before he eventually drops out. How ridiculous is this nonsense? Roshi is now so damn powerful he can use the Mafuba over and over again, even on people as strong as Vegeta or Frost, and not even die? Does the Mafuba suddenly use less ki than a Kamehameha, or did Super Saiyan Blue's magical plot armor just rub off onto Roshi? It's just ridiculous. I'm happy that Roshi got to be used some more, but man, is this writing just plain awful surrounding him. It's bad enough that Toei turned his deviant nature up to 11 and then broke the knob off, but now Roshi is probably stronger than Frieza on Namek, Cell, Majin Buu, and hey, even Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. Because Vegeta never said Gotenks made his fist tingle, and because Toei doesn't care about scaling or continuity. You guys like Roshi? He's god tier. Why wasn't he this way earlier? Shut up and buy our merchandise, you baka gaijin. We'd rather make piles of yen than tell a story that makes sense about one of your favorite characters. Now let's go comment on a YouTuber's videos telling them to stop complaining and enjoy the show, so we can trick people into thinking that other people are really this illogically hypocritical. But I digress. The writing for Roshi in this arc has been good during some character moments, like with Korin, his speeches to his students, and just Goku seeming to actually care about another human being for once. But the rest of it has been awful, so overall it evens out to being pretty ridiculous, and it really just makes this show's continuity feel all the more broken as a result. But maybe in the next arc he'll be retconned to be weaker than Zarbon again, with no explanation whatsoever, because I'm sure the fans will love that.
Yeah, and you better subscribe, enable those damn notifications.